Good morning, everybody. Because I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. Good morning, everybody. Marcus Conti reporting. Welcome to Wednesday. The year is September 14. 2020 is the date. September 14, 2022. Play it, Granny Cat. This is a cat playing, by the way. That's Granny Cat playing. Granny Cat, the cat. A lot of people don't know that, but my cat used to play piano. That is Granny Cat. Granny Cat. How you doing? Marcus Conti reporting. Good morning, everybody. Wednesday. It's I didn't even know what day it was. It's a Wednesday, and it's 9/14 in the year 2022. Inflation. Everything that you buy, everything that you want, everything that you need is suddenly more expensive. Whose fault? Gotta blame somebody. It's the dirty Democrats. It's the horrible Republicans. It's you. It's your fault. It's the fucking immigrants jumping over the fence in El Paso. It's Black Lives Matter. It's fucking Trump Mar-Lago. Pick a reason and we'll find one. But what's happening clearly, and a focus of this program, if you're not aware, observation that I made many years ago is that almost every political conversation, political decision, politically driven story can almost always be explained by looking at the stock market. They say, oh, it's fucking oligarchy and big business. It has nothing to do with me. Well, it's a measure. It has everything to do with everybody and everything. And you look, and there you find evidence in the numbers. So the evidence in the numbers, at least yesterday, was that inflation keeps creeping up. There's a number they look at, CPI. It's going up. Consumer Price Index, the cost of things. Look at the chart right here. And since Biden took office, well, regardless of who took office, the fact is, in the last 2 years, bread 21 more cents, milk 72 cents, beef up 81 cents a pound, eggs up $1.65 a dozen, gas $1.77 up. Right. But I thought the Democrats, yesterday they had a party out on the lawn, you heard? The Inflation Reduction Act party, inviting big celebrities like James Taylor to sing, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen lonely days where my thoughts would never end. Or I thought would never end. Nonetheless, here they are. The Democrats are celebrating their Inflation Reduction Act, dumping $700 billion somewhere. The money is not hitting anywhere at all. Why? Look what Wall Street said, oh yeah? Inflation Reduction Act? Fuck you. The market got crushed yesterday, if you didn't see it. Right? It was down 500 fucking points. Look at this. Look at this drop. Look at this drop. In the morning, we were NASDAQ 12.2. By the end of the day, we were NASDAQ 11.6. Right? We lost 1,000 points almost on the NASDAQ. Right? Crazy. 632 points. Or 5%. 5% of the value of the NASDAQ evaporated yesterday. And of course it always goes, it fluctuates up and down. But the point is that where is the evidence? Where is the justification for the Biden administration to be partying like, like drunken sailors on the lawn of the White House, declaring victory over inflation, when there's absolutely no evidence to suggest, no empirical evidence that shows anything they did is helping. They're claiming victory over the oligarchs. See, we reined in big business. Look at them. Look at them squirm. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. How are you? The evidence of inflation reduction is in price. Where do we see your efforts that you claim are working? But nonetheless, the Democrats are out on the lawn partying like drunken sailors, mostly because why? Because people don't pay attention. People are not paying it. People don't know. People don't know. So they turn to their trusted leaders like Biden and Kamala Harris, and they're all smiling and partying on the lawn. It means things must be good. Things must be better than I think. Right? Why am I so busy thinking about myself and the price and the fact that I can't afford anything anymore and I can't pay my bills? Inflation is under control, says Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Not blaming them, just pointing it out. There's a contradiction there. Why are the dirty Democrats absent of the dirty Republicans? Why are they out on the lawn in Washington celebrating the Inflation Reduction Bill when it has had absolutely no effect? In fact, maybe the equal but opposite effect of reining in inflation. That's what we're going to talk about today. There's some not much news on the Queen. I found it kind of fascinating. With the Queen, there's a very expensive diamond that was apparently taken from parts of Africa and then ultimately, I think it was India. Excuse me. We'll read the story. I don't remember the details, but the big stone in the Queen's crown. Priceless. I mean, it's one of the most revered diamonds in the world in terms of size and value and historic ramification, right? It sits in the Queen's crown. But there's a controversy that India says it's ours, give it back. History is marred with stolen art. A lot of art that came out of, like, for example, in Germany, when the Germans were looting other parts of the world, like Italy, and they were looting England to some degree. They took over France. They started to loot and steal and take the art, the expensive art. Ultimately, a lot of that was reclaimed. But in the fall of Tibet, for example, you got guys like, fucking Rubin, the Rubin Museum in New York, trying to make a case for stealing Tibetan fucking religious artifacts and making a museum around them. Literally going to the temples in Tibet and saying, "Oh yeah, we'll buy your temple. We'll buy it for 10,000 US." And it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars because of. But history is marred with this, and we'll look at the fascinating story about the diamond in Queen Elizabeth's crown. Now that she's gone, are you going to give back the diamond? Who gives back the spoils of war? Who gives them back? When I win, I win. It's mine forever. And El Paso getting bombed with the new labor force. We have rampant inflation in this country. We got to drive the price down. So we're going to get basically open the border up, get all those people from Venezuela and Ecuador or whoever else wants to come into our fair country and go scrub pots for 2. We got jobs. We got jobs. Nobody wants to fill these jobs. We'll give it to the illegals. And meanwhile, that's the reality of the border. It has nothing to do with. Could we filter out immigration at the border in Texas and Arizona? Of course we could. Could we build a way? Trump had the idea. You build a wall, you build a complex that filters in and out. But that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. It's about labor. Believe it. That's what it is. Big business wants cheap labor to flood the country. It's good for them. It's good for their bottom line. And it puts everybody else in check. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, you want $15 an hour? Fuck you. Jose and his family of 12, right over there, all 12 of them are willing to work for pennies on the dollar. So fuck you. Why do we need you? American. Dirty American. White privileged America. Fuck you. Fuck you. We'll let the Venezuelans do it. Or that's the new flow of people from Venezuela. Look, I don't frown on immigration per se for the people. I think that if I were living in a country that I thought was overly oppressive to me, I would leave too. Why not? Or I was just looking for some other thing to do, and I'm willing to sacrifice. I don't frown on that part of it. What I frown on is that the motive that our government has to allow that to happen is purely economic. It has nothing to do with, the few, the proud, right? The proud Americans of, the story of immigration in America. It's not really what it's about today, anyway. Maybe it was. My name is Marcus Conte. I have a website, and every morning, I think we're at live show 40 right now. Every day there are videos up. We're across all of these platforms: Rumble, BitChute, Truth Social, Twitter, Facebook, Getter, Odyssey. Putting some stuff up on Odyssey. Here's a full list of all the places we are. We're live every morning at 9 a.m. We're either broadcasting live on YouTube, and if that fails, we go to D Live. Right, the default is D Live. So we thank everybody for joining us. And I have a website. I was mentioning that. So let's start here. We don't have royalty in America, but we have Obama and his two darling children, Malia and boyfriend DeWitt Ecklerlund. Take a stroll through New York. This is what we got, right? This is what we got in America, right? We got Malia Obama spotted hanging out with rumored boyfriend DeWitt. This is going to be very brief. Hold your breath. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but it is interesting. There is the former president's daughter, and we follow them around, right? Paparazzis follow them around to make sure they're not doing anything they're not supposed to. They were down in Soho. That's the Soho district. They apparently went to Chinatown for a bite to eat. And there was a video of them strolling. I don't know where it went. I don't know where the video went. New York Post. There we go. Give it to me. You got to load an ad, right? You got to watch an ad. Well, anyway, man, who cares? Fucking Malia's got a boyfriend. Malia, the former president, his daughter, has a boyfriend. Do you give a shit? Do you care? They're living large, not feeling inflation at all, strolling around Soho, one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the United States and in the world. Highest property values anywhere. Malia and her boyfriend are strolling the streets of New York while you fucking suffer. Mad Cow Mark points out he's white. He's a white boy. That is a twist, right? Malia Obama marries a white boy. For whatever it's worth. El Paso looks like a third world country after Texas. That's racist, man. That's racist to point out that Malia Obama's boyfriend is white. Why are you pointing out his color, man? We're all the same color. Unless you're a black woman and then you step to the front of the line and you get You're supposed to sit in first class rather than coach, as the mayor of New Orleans said, because you're a black woman, and and there's people that want to hurt you, so you have to sit in first class. Black privilege. El Paso looks like a third world country after Texas border city is overrun by immigrants. Oh, here you go. Here's the labor force. There they go. Look at that. Look at it. Look at this. Look at this modern day immigration. Nice. Everybody looks like they have nice, clean clothes. They have their children. Everybody's happy, well fed. They got their masks on to protect, to be safe. The safety mask is being worn, right, to save yourself, right, because of the germs, the deadly germs, right. Wear masks. They look like normal people. They're strolling. They have designer clothing on, Adidas and Nike shoes, right. Abibus. Yeah, there you go. So average 1,300 fucking people crossing the border a day. They have apparently we have a process center in El Paso that handles 3,400 people. They're flooding in. Look at them. Look, man. That fat woman right there and her two lovely children did not walk from fucking Venezuela to get in. Someone dropped them at the border and said, "Go, go, go." That's the Rio Grande. All you got to do is walk across, and you are free. The days of climbing the wall and ice are over. We're living in the age of Obama, of freedom for all. Send your children, send your mother, send your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Send them over. We'll take them, right? And we'll get them a pot scrubbing job because nobody in America wants to do it anymore. Here they are. The immigrant process. Is this the right way to do it? Open border. Nobody is denied entry. Is that the way it should be? Right? Do other countries operate like that? Right? Can you immigrate into China and move to the front of the line? Can you immigrate to Russia and move to the front of the line? No. You can't go anywhere without and move to the front of the line. You go to the back of the line. But in America, they put you to the front of the line. They give you a bus ticket up to New York, and you enter into another circle of help where they'll get you welfare. They'll get you food stamps. Maybe not food stamps, but they'll get you something. They'll get you on your feet. And they'll give you a $5 an hour job at the restaurant, working your ass off, because that's what we need you to do. That is what immigration should be. Slaves. It's modern slavery. We're opening the border because we need more slaves to do the menial work. And, in the eyes of Wall Street, put pressure on these lazy fucking Americans that don't want to work for less than $15 an hour. How dare them? How dare these young people want $15 an hour? Fuck you, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. We're not going to pay them $15 an hour to flip hamburgers or pack our boxes at Staples and Walmart. Just go down to El Paso and round up some of the slaves, man. This is slavery. This is what it is. This is how it operates. And, black people want to cry about slavery in the 1400s where they were rounded up in Africa and sold, price per head, sold at market and shipped over so that the settlers, the colonists here could use them for labor. It's really the same thing. It's a form of modern day slavery. It clearly represents the new workforce, which has always been the case in America. Get the hungriest and the most desperate to do the jobs, and they'll climb the ladder. They'll be increasingly successful in 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. They won't need that shitty job, and they'll be so grateful that America opened the door for us. But at what point do you take care of your own first? Is that even a thing? Should we really care about shutting the border and taking care of our own? Who's going to do the work, man? So, El Paso, if you live in El Paso, you probably have white privilege or Mexican privilege or residential privilege, some kind of privilege, homeowner privilege. It's time for you to go, man. You gotta get out of there, man. Get out of El Paso. Just like the Hasids flood into Israel and kick out the fucking Palestinians. Tell them, get out of your home, and they take their home. Maybe that's what the immigrants down in El Paso are going to start doing, taking away the home of these fine people. So briefly, the bloody history of the Kohinoor diamond. Kohinoor diamond, right? The royal jewel everyone is talking about. So briefly, this is the crown, right? And there's a diamond in there that India says Britain stole. There you go, man. So thank you. We have Buffy. Buffy has entered the room. So following Queen Elizabeth's death last week, critics have renewed calls for the British government to return artifacts looted by the British Empire. Among them, the Kohinoor diamond, one of the world's most famous controversial gems. Housed today in the Tower of London as part of the Crown Jewels collection, the diamond is subject to claims of ownership from multiple countries. It is rumored that it will be worn by Camilla, now Queen Consort. That's Charles's wife. Right? 186 carats uncut. I only bring it up because, look, the spoils of war, right? The spoils of war. England conquered. England was the empire and took everything in its wake, right? When India was conquered by Britain, or, the India was, the governments were pushed aside for British rule. One of the things they snatched was the diamond. Now, on top, think about that for 1 second. On top of the Queen's head is a stolen gem protected by the almighty monarchy and the power of England. Right? No way of getting that diamond off the Queen's head. Right? And India says it was looted. So I think it is fascinating. For every victory, there's a tragedy. Right? It was a cherished stone throughout history, right? It has 13th century South India. The Hindus believe the gem from the Bhagavad Purana tells of the god Krishna. Right? It's powerful, man. There's power in the stone, man. It's fucking Krishna's locked in the stone. So anyway, there it is. There's the casket. There is the crown of the Queen with the jewel in it. All right. There it goes. All right. So fascinating, right? Fascinating story about the Queen's stone. All right. So let's talk about the White House. In 2 minutes, we'll flip to the markets as well, because this story is intimately connected to the stock market. White House throws inflation reduction party with James Taylor as stocks crash over dismal 8.3 rate hike. Right? 8.3 rate of inflation. Right? It's not a rate hike. 8.3 rate of inflation. The street was looking for 8.1 or 8.0 or less. But inflation is ticking up. For 2 months now, 2 consecutive months in a row, they can't get it. They can't rein in inflation. Federal Reserve is trying everything they can to do it. But what about the idea of the Inflation Reduction Act? Didn't the Democrats just say they're celebrating on the lawn of the White House their passing of the Inflation Reduction Act and how wonderful it is for everybody? Meanwhile, inflation keeps ticking up. What the fuck did they do with the money? Where is the $700 billion that was supposed to reduce inflation? It's not hitting any sort of real economy at all. It's figurative. What are they waiting for? 2024, so when they run for president again, they're going to start to release that money and say, see how the economy is going up? Yeah. Something like that. But anyway, Biden, now 79 years old, had classic folk rocker James Taylor kick off the White House lawn bash with his hit song, his 1970s hit song, I've Seen Fire and I've Seen Rain, a song reportedly about suicide and heroin addiction, to belatedly celebrate passage of his Inflation Reduction spending bill. Right? Meanwhile, I know this is painful, but let's listen.
Inflation Reduction Act into law, a single most important legislation passed in the Congress to combat inflation, and one of the most significant laws in our nation's history, in my view.
Oh, really? Why so, Joe? What effect is it having? You want to tell me, oh, it's for the future? Well, it's not reflation. It's not reducing any real-time inflation at all. In fact, it's making it worse.
I said it
You know,
then, and I'll keep saying it.
all right.
With this law, the American people won. Environmental activists, students, and young people, advocates for senior citizens and families. This is what it looks like when the American government works for the people.
What are you looking at, Joe? We're looking at the facts, right? Where's your Inflation Reduction Act? Is inflation continues to tick up. The Federal Reserve is doing their part in trying to rein it down, but what are you doing? You're signing bills for $700 billion, and the money is not getting anywhere to where it's supposed to be. You're opening up the border, flooding the labor market with absolutely cheap slave labor. What are you doing, Joe? What are you talking about, Joe? What exactly are you talking about? Because I don't understand what you're saying.
When we tell the powerful interests, no, you're not going to get your way. This time, not this year, not this time, not now.
It's like comedy. It's like a comedy skit. Big interest. Ooh, who's big interest? The guys who paid for your inauguration?
Let's be honest. Passing this law wasn't easy. I proposed it as soon as I got here, basically. And I've said that day that I was determined to work with Republicans. And I've done that on historic laws like the infrastructure law. Republicans came across the aisle and they worked with us. And we got it done. Over $1.2 billion.
See, Wake and Bake. I knew there was something about you I like. Wake and Bake now says in the chat, make America great again and build back better are the same exact agenda under different names. Wakety people. Absolutely, right? If I've been misconstrued, I'm only criticizing the Democrats right now because they're the ones throwing the party on the lawn. Yes, the idea of make America great again and build back better are slogans for the other side of this argument. And again, nothing will change. Republicans are equally as invested in flooding the country with illegal immigrants as anybody else will. Look, if you want to stop all that, it's very easy to do. If you want to stop illegal people from working in America, you just have to punish the people who hire them. If you hire someone who is working illegally, punish them and the immigrants will go away. It's like pigeons. Once you stop feeding the pigeons, they go away. They look for something else. But anyway, yeah, you're talking about no one here on this channel is advocating the opposite of these policies. What I'm advocating is if you're gonna institute a $750 billion bill to reduce inflation, it should have some kind of real effect. At least the stimulus they did in 2020 had an effect on markets. It improved people's lives. It changed the dynamic of decentralized versus centralized work. It had a lot. It had significant. The stimuluses of 2020 had a significant effect on the economy, whereas this has no effect whatsoever, other than to stockpile a lot of money so that they can release it during their election cycle.
$200 million to reshape this nation's infrastructure. The last guy had this job. Well, let me put it this way. This bill finally delivers on a promise that I've made to the American people for decades. But Republicans choose not to join us. In the end, every single Republican voted against this historic law. So it fell to the Democrats to meet this moment and deliver for the
See, all he's about is proving the other side of power is wrong. See, we're for it and they're against it. Vote for us. Does that really help anybody? Does that show us the evidence that it works, and then everybody will shut the fuck up? You can't, because, Joe, your Inflation Reduction Act thus far is a dismal failure.
American people.
Abysmal, excuse me.
And that's exactly what we did. But folks, nobody ever in history, nobody this year, the American people won, the climate deniers lost, and the Inflation Reduction Act takes the most aggressive action to combat climate, as the speaker said, ever, ever, ever.
He looks, you know what it is about Joe Biden? It's not only that he's a little senile and he almost always seems to be confused, but Joe Biden he's out of touch, grotesquely out of touch with what Americans really believe and feel and are feeling. Instead, he's like, well, the teleprompter says something different today. And didn't we say the opposite yesterday? It's like, yeah, Joe, just read it. It's good. We all agree that you should just read it.
Over $360 billion. All this progress was declared a failure before it was a success when we introduced it. We didn't give up, though. We kept at it. We had a vision, a plan, and we stuck to it. And the result is we're getting the job done for the American people.
What job, Joe? What did you get done? I'm Marcus Conte reporting on the job done. Let's look at what the job done, Joe. Let's stop there and look. Look, the stock market got absolutely fucking pummeled yesterday. And it is not really recovering. It's lying flat. As flat as the fucking earth right now. Right, flat as the earth. Right, there goes the market going down, down, down. That's the Nasdaq. Dow is. You got to remember, yesterday the market was down. The Nasdaq was down 5%. 5% of the money gone. Dow is still 3,100. So there's no evidence that anything that this guy. Here they are partying like. This is my wife Jill. I know she looks just like the Queen Consort, Prince Charles's wife, but they're different people. Sometimes we get them mixed up and we trade. Hey, Jill, you could be the queen for a day, and his wife swapping. That's what Joe Biden and King Charles do. Their wives look the same, if you haven't noticed. Jill Biden, Jill, J-I-L. I can't say J because my teeth fell out. There's Chuck Schumer. There's a strong black woman. I think that's is that Letitia James, the fucking hypocrite that's going after Trump in New York? I don't know. But there he is. They're partying. They're having a good time. Look how great, look how wonderful we are. There's Maxine Waters and dirty Democrats, they're out there doing it, man. Look, Inflation Reduction. No evidence that any of it works. These are your power brokers right here. These are the biggest money grabbers biggest money grabbers in politics right now. This is how American politics works. $700 billion sitting on the sidelines for inflation reduction while inflation continues to go through the fucking roof. And people get squeezed. And the border is opened up to the modern age of slavery. That's what I see. You're throwing a party to reduce inflation. Great. What inflation have you reduced? None. So anyway, man. So this jackoff was at. I can't play the song, but so if we play the music today, this is James Taylor, 74 years old, playing "I've Seen Fire and I've Seen Rain." Right on the steps, right out there, I guess the Rose Garden at the White House. He's having a good time. We'll play clips of it.
Just yesterday morning, I wrote down this song. Get the best of you. You put an end to me.
He can't sing anymore.
Walked out this morning.
I walked out this morning. Help me play. I like his guitar, man. It's got a beautiful guitar. It's got rhinestones and shit in there. Brand new, fucking looks like a Martin. I didn't see the headstock. Let me see. I'll tell you what guitar it is. Shh. There he is. I want to see his headstock. I don't know what guitar that is. It looks like an Ovation, maybe. Ovation? I don't know. I don't know what kind of. But here he is, man. We're not allowed to play music anymore on YouTube because we can get copyright striked because James Taylor will want to take our money from us. But there he is. I like James Taylor, Margie O. He really. No diss to James Taylor for playing. James Taylor is a guitar player, singer. And the White House wants him to come and sit on the lawn and play a song. No fucking singer in their right mind would say no to that. You're invited to the White House to play in front of fucking 100. Look, if we're jammed up, if Buffy got the best of us today, just head over to the replay. These videos are recorded separately. Right? What I'm doing right now is recorded separately in its entirety, and then will be placed on other platforms that don't jam it. And you can watch the whole. You can watch the whole thing on Rumble, BitChute, Facebook, Getter, Twitter, Odyssey, Truth Social. Right? I put the link out there so you can watch it if you're interested. That's how we have to do it right now. So again, slightly green to flat open after a disaster yesterday. Fucking taking the wind right out of the sail of that rally. Look, attention Wall Street, attention Joe Biden, attention Democratic Party, Republican Party. I know it's hard to accept that Wall Street has conquered the economy. All things lead back to corporate profit and corporate branding. Just give them what they want. Right? You already lost that battle. Right? Fund it, and let the value of the equities go up. Let the ability of large corporations to take money by selling stock in the open market, the valuation of this economy that we have, let it happen and stop fighting it. $750 billion. What are you going to do with it? What are you doing with the inflation reduction money? Turn it over already. But they're not going to do any of that, man. They're just going to. Oops, I'm sorry. They're going to keep. They're going to keep on keeping on. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. Margie O is here. Thank you, Vinny D. Martini on the wrench. Thank you, everybody, for not being a dick in the chat. So Vinny or I don't have to wrench you out. Weevil Girl, good morning, Weevil Girl. Scooter Scat, how you doing, man? How you doing? Wake and Bake Now. Thank you very much for joining us, for your fine commentary in the chat. Mad Cow Mark. Mike G75, I think I saw Me So Hungry is here. Everybody's here. Zoot Suit Cooter If I miss your name, Steve 67 UK is also here. Mike Markland, Markick, Marklick. There you go. I got it. It's here, everybody. If I miss your name, don't take it personal, man. That's the theme here. You know, just don't take anything personal, because I'm really just a guy who makes videos. I'm not nearly as important as anybody, especially YouTube, would have you believe. I'm just a guy. That's all I do. I'm a guy who makes cat videos and plays piano by himself. I'm hardly a threat to anybody. Peace, everybody. Mark Sconti reporting.